technology is good in roof tiles, but like not Tesla good. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you're paying for the name right now.
Still, if I could afford it, that roof warranty is the like 100 years, right? Like you'll never replace your roof again. I would have did it. All right, G, my fault.
Okay?
We talking nonsense, G. Go ahead. Let me let you do your thing. Go ahead.
Sure.
What time is it?
Thank you, my man. Peace. Choose to Inspire, Not Destroy, podcast 11. We're back. I got my guys with me, Rion, Brandon, Kofi. Beautiful day. I'm G. Almost forgot myself. Just good vibes. We in good spirits. Welcome back. If you've been here before, thank you for joining us again. If this is your first time, welcome. We hope you enjoy it. Stick with us. Before we get into it, we've been having a little series going, talking about our past relationships and how they've affected us as men. Last week, Rion went and he shared some stuff with us that was very near and dear to his heart, and it was a real experience. You know I give him a hard time personally on this show a lot. He's like my nemesis, and we go at it. He's Armageddon. I don't know who I would be in the X-Men theme, but I just want to salute you, King, for opening up, expressing yourself, sharing, just believing in the movement and letting yourself be vulnerable. You know, even though we gave you a hard time, it was a real situation that you went through. I'm glad you came up out of it. I'm glad that you could laugh about it. And hopefully somebody related to it. If you haven't seen it, it was episode 10. Check it out. Give us a like, comment, subscribe. Help us just push the movement forward because we're working. We're trying. We believe in it. We're trying to build a culture to choose to inspire, not destroy. B, it's your week, brother.
Hey.
What you got?
Yo, I mean, to be honest with you, I can't top Rion. Like,
I don't think nobody.
Rion's stories was wild.
Yeah.
Like me personally, right? Like my earliest relationships. So, I mean, G, you knew me when I was younger. Oh, nah, you did. You knew me when I went through like everything, right? So, like. If you knew me since like 7th, 8th grade, and then after I went into high school, right? So I don't think I changed very much, but I definitely went through like ugly duckling syndrome. I went through a growth spurt or something because from like 7th, I couldn't get a girl until I entered like second semester of freshman year. And then it was like on and popping, right? So like no girls at all till like, we could talk, right? And that was like, I think that is more like impactful to me than like any specific relationship, right? Because going from, let me start over. Let me rewind a little bit. Let me take it back.
Yeah.
The first real relationship I got in after, going through my ugly duckling syndrome. I was in freshman year of high school. I had just like gotten kicked out of, I got put in a foster home. I hadn't seen half of my family in like 6 months. Like my pops, I never knew my pops, but I found out like he died in prison that year. And my mom's was like critical, right? So like there was a lot of shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
So this the first real relationship, there was this girl who I went to aviation high school, and aviation high school is effectively an all boys school, right? It's not really an all boys school, but there was like 12 girls in my class, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was, and that's not an exaggeration. That's like a factual number. But around the corner from aviation high school is a school called Queens Vocational. And that school is effectively an all girls school. Right. So like that's a school for like hairdressing and like traditionally women focused fields. Right. So we would all hang out, like we would meet at the diner midway. And I met this girl who I went to Queens Vo. I'll just call her G. Right. She knows who she is. And she was probably as broken as I was, but like lived at home, right? Like had her moms, like didn't have her pops, but her moms, I mean, I don't want to put all her business out there, but her moms had like 9 children, and it was wild, right? Like they lived in like a 2-bedroom railroad apartment, and it were like 10 of them, right? Like we had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I think probably what was the scumbaggiest of things on my end was I never really appreciated like what, not that I didn't appreciate what she brought to the table. She was a beautiful girl. She was very sweet. Like she was very supportive, but I had just went through ugly duckling syndrome, right? So like now if a girl hollered at me, especially, right? Like a girl wants my number, I got a girlfriend, but I'm getting your number, B.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's
It's
no
game
way.
time. Yeah, it's game time. It's game time.
No way I'm gonna say no to this situation, especially since like I live in the hood. Like there are stats, right? Like you gotta put up your numbers. You gotta you gotta come through with something looking good, right? So like I definitely sabotaged that relationship, right? Even when like she took me back, I just wasn't in the mindset to like be in a monogamous relationship. And to be honest with you, I don't think I really was until like my 30s, right? Like I don't think I was until like my wife, right? And like I mean that's kind of rough, right? And more than just like going through ugly duckling syndrome, but like and no relationships around me worked, right? Like you and my sister were like destructive, right? Like I've seen y'all be destructive and like carrying on. My relationship with my sisters was destructive. My relationship with my mother, like I lost my mom's that year, right? So like all the people I care about were like scattered, and like I had not seen any good examples of relationships working. And to top it off at that time, like the OGs, I feel like all of the OGs in the hood steered us wrong, right? Like I don't have any good like takeaways from the people who are older than me in like the foster homes in the neighborhoods, because they all were trash, right? They all were telling us like, nah, bag some other girl, don't worry about that. Like hanging out on the corner, like not doing anything productive. And you reflect what you see, right? So like at that time, that was what was happening. That's what I wanted to be doing, right? So it just didn't work out.
Do you think a part of you, like now you understand that you weren't ready for certain things, but do you think that at the time, a lot of the things you were doing, it was just natural? Like you didn't mean to be doing certain things. It was just how you carried on.
I don't think I thought anything of it, right? Like I didn't think I was wrong, right? Like I just thought like I was a teenager, right? Like this is what you do.
You were just playing catch up. That's it.
Don't support me, dude. You're gonna get me in trouble.
No, but that's what it is. In all fairness, it's like you go through a phase where you kind of feel like nobody wants you, and then when people start paying some attention, you want all of that.
Yeah,
you're not turning down anything because it's a euphoric feeling. Like you finally get to feel like you're valued now.
Yeah, I went through some tribulations. Quick story, right? My wife is gonna hate this story, but we're gonna tell it anyway because it's nice. It's an interesting story, right? So I'm in my late teens. I'm working at a retail store, and this girl comes. I'm working at a pharmacy. This girl comes in, getting birth control, and at the time, you getting birth control, that means you're getting popping. Right? So I get her number, right? Kicking game north for a little bit. But at the same time, this one time getting off the bus, going to work, seeing this other chick who I thought was like really attractive, right? So I'm like, all right, well, get her number, right? So I get her number, I'm talking to her, doing all that. And so like I'm talking to multiple girls, but these two girls specifically are like I'm paying a lot of attention to, right? So there's one day I'm at work, just chilling. Girl A walks into the store, right? And then like 1 second behind her, girl B walks into the store. So I walk up to the first one, give her a kiss on the cheek, walk past her, walk up to the second one, give her a kiss on the cheek. And immediately as I turn around, it hits me. These two girls are sisters.
Oh. Wow.
Too bad.
Wow.
All you have to say is you were, the Italian culture, and you were that's how you grew.
Yeah.
No, blame them, Brandon, for not being close enough to say, "Hey, this is the guy I'm dating." That's their fault, bro. I'm with you.
No, obviously, eventually they did say that.
It was already too late, though. No, you got to communicate as sisters, man. I just let
Maybe
you
they had
guide
an
it.
ulterior motive.
Are the teenage years, like, should you really even be in a serious relationship in your teenage years, though? Honestly,
I don't think so. I don't think you should start looking for a serious relationship until you're on the cusp of 25. Because you need to go through certain traumas or certain type of relationships or certain things in order to develop where you're at now, or develop a strong understanding of what it takes for a relationship. You can't do the job if you have like no history. You know what I mean? You have to go through certain stuff. So no, I don't think you should be sitting here trying to be a serious relationship person as a teenager. Even though I'm not gonna want my daughter out there dating multiple people. But yeah, I don't think you should.
Hold on, go for
it.
I
was going to say, I think in your early teens, probably not. But when I think about it, right, and I reflect back on it, like, and we'll get to my story eventually, but like, I feel like 18, 19, like, why not? Especially like if you're away in school and like you're establishing yourself and like starting to possibly get into your career. Like, that's one less thing, right? Like, I feel like there's more motivation and support. Like, let's say, you move on together, you guys are 21, 22, you're living together, you're whatever, you're both starting your career. Like, it sucks to be 19 away in school and have none of the girls want anybody that's around their age, because they're all most of them are looking for, guys or relationships from a partner that is already established. It's like, we're all here in school together and out here trying to sleep with the alumni and not like anybody that's your age. So,
but Kofi, what do you have? I was going to ask you a question. My bad. I cut you off. Go ahead and finish.
No.
I was going to ask you at 19, what type of history do you know to conduct a stable relationship? Like, what could you bring to the table to make sure this 19-year-old relationship? First of all, you still can't drink. You have, you still, no, what I'm saying, I'm just using that as like a thing, meaning like you have no worldly experience just yet. So what could you really conduct at 19 and be like, yo, I'm ready for a stable relationship? Even that 19-year-old relationship is still going to be trial and error.
Well, and again, I think it depends. I think it depends on where you are in life, and not saying that people that go to college are better or not. But like, if for the example where you're in college, right? Like, you're both around each other. You're both in hopefully, if you're away at college, you're in a more stable environment, right? And like, it's that, I don't know, it's that like ability, even though you don't have any track record, you can figure it out together and you can build together. Because I think there's nothing greater than being able to tell this story to your kids. Like, hey, we were together since before either of us had anything. Like, she believed in me back when I was almost failing out of school. And we figured out, we went through the ups and downs together because we both didn't have any relationship experience, and we figured it out. And I don't know, because then if you end up being successful, how much harder is it for you, especially later on in life, to actually find somebody that you can trust that actually cares for you?
Well, let me challenge that assertion, right? Because the way I see it is, when you are 18 to 25, right? As opposed to when you're 25 to 30, you're somewhat a different person, right? I don't think I would like know the person I was at 19. right? I definitely wouldn't hang out with them, right? Like, so you are still becoming more of what you're going to be. She's still becoming more of what she's going to be. And the odds that the people that you liked as teenagers are the people you're going to like as adults is not a zero-sum game, but like, you know, that's people grow apart for that reason.
Right. No, I listen, I agree with that. That's why I said if I were to break it down and think about it in terms of teenagers, definitely later in teens, right? Because obviously you're closer to who you're going to be when you're 19 than you are when you're 14, right? So that, I mean, I would, if I had to choose between the two, even if I were 17, I'd rather be in a starting a serious relationship at 19, establishing, because like at that point at 19 in school, I was like, all right, the next move after school is this. What's your next move? Oh, you want to be a nurse? Okay, this is how this kind of fits together. Do you agree? Yeah. Right. But at 17, you're like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. So if we had to choose the teen years, I would say definitely the latter of the two.
Oh, I'm gonna ask you a salty question. You ready? You think it's natural to be with someone for more than 10 years?
If it's natural to be with someone.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Wait, you got it.
It's tough. Tough.
I think it is. I think it is.
I think it's possible. I don't think it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
But I was with my girl for more than 10 years.
Sure, right? But if I like the example I used as teenagers versus 20s, right? I feel like every 10 years, really, you're kind of a different person than you were the decade before, right? Due to life and everything else, right?
Uh-huh.
Would it make sense to have the understanding going in that like we probably have an expiration date on this relationship? If we can walk away amicably, maybe we'll both get more out of it. Ignoring the financial like incentives to being in a relationship.
Well, I think that's a smart way to approach it. I think, this doesn't sound really just generic. Communication is the key, right? Because like because it's not like boom, you're 30, you're one person, then boom, you're 40. Like between those 10 years, your interests start to change a little bit, right? And I think if you're communicating to your partner, your wife, whoever, that, what is interesting you, right? Or what's keeping you interested. I'm not talking about like the physical, like sex or any of that, right? Because that can change like week to week, whatever, right? I'm talking about like things that interest you in life. Like, hey, I'm really into running now. Would you want to join me? Like having those types of conversations, like, hey, this is something that really interests me. Do you want to try it? And like they start to become open to the idea, then that person starts to evolve with you, and you realize that there's some things that other person may be starting to get into. You may not be interested in it right now, but over the next couple of years, as you start to see the person dive into it a little bit more, it might pique your interest. And I think that is what keeps people together through those changes.
So to elaborate on what you, I actually think it's natural to be with someone more than 10 years. If you start at a certain cusp, like I said, before 25.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Before 25, I don't think it's natural. I think it's something, like you need history. You need to develop where you are now, right? But from 25 to like 35, you become a more well-rounded individual. You become someone who knows how to deal with relationships, who knows how to deal with emotions, who knows how to deal with the worldly things that affect your relationship, such as job, loss of job, having a child and things like that, right? And I say that to say, I've been with my girlfriend 10 years, right? And I think it's exactly 10 years. And every year we're growing. We're growing with each other, and it's natural. What we were, but I met at like 29, 30. But we were mature enough to grow with each other as we aged, So I don't know if you understand, if I'm getting my point across. I think you have to get to a certain maturity level to where that becomes natural. So after 25, when you get older, it becomes natural, and it's no longer like, hey, let's part ways. It's 10 years. Our expiration's here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it got to be the person in the relationship. I feel like
Yeah.
once you hit a certain mark in your relationship, you almost can't even see that relationship ending. All you know is that person. So it's like, okay, maybe you get to year 5, year 6, and then it's like you're almost not even counting anymore because you just feel like this is my forever. Like, it doesn't matter if it's 10, 15 years. But I do got to say this, B. I'm a little offended that you said you witnessed me and your sister being so destructive. You ain't have to put my business out there.
Y'all were chaotic, bro.
I mean, in all fairness, I was the victim in that relationship.
That's not how I saw it. I just saw bombs going off.
Nah, I was the victim. She was the only person that ever made me feel like I was trash. And that is crazy because I've been around, and I'm not proud to say that, but if I was a vehicle, it's well over 100,000 miles on this vehicle. And
you on your second engine?
Yeah. Transmission been rebuilt, everything. And she was just the only one that it was like I couldn't shake certain things with her. So I could see how you would say we were so destructive, because we were. But that goes to the point I was making. Like, me and her, it was around 10 years, and it was a crazy 10. And then I had Austin, and now with my wife. So I've always been in a relationship, but like Rion said, I've progressed. So the person I was that you saw is a completely different person. It's just a certain, and I don't even think it's a maturity that you go through as you age. For me, it was the person. It was my wife. She changed everything for me.
Yeah, man, I agree. And I think, a lot of the times I'll say something like that just to invoke the conversation, right? But like, I tell my wife all the time when she's like, oh, but when she's talking about somebody in the past, or like something comes up, or an Instagram like from someone I have no idea who they are anymore. I'm like, yo, who's that person? I don't know, because I was a different person. I never dated that person. I don't know who they are. That's on somebody else. So
does it feel weird to you being a different person? Like, sometimes do you feel like, even though you're not doing anything wrong, you still feel a little weird?
I still feel a little trash, right? Like, I still feel like, but I still wonder, like, yo, is all of that done, right? Like, am I one bad situation from making a mistake, right? Like, it's still like weighs on me, like, man, I was like a wild person. Like, am I no longer that person? Or have I just removed myself from those situations? And am I just like one trip to Vegas from being trash, right? Like, who knows?
Could you live with yourself? I think that answers the question for you. If you could live with yourself knowing that you did something to really hurt your wife.
So, I mean, I feel like the easy answer is no, right? But if you've done it in the past, you could, right? Like, you've lived with yourself before, right? Like, you've had great relationships, and you've ruined them, and you've just been like, all right, right? Like, I don't know, right? Like, it definitely is something that I think about, like, subconsciously sometimes, right? Like, I love my wife. I appreciate my wife. I don't think I would do anything to jeopardize our situation. But I know I've done things to jeopardize good situations before. And I don't want to be ignorant to the fact that, like, that person has my name, right? Like, that I see that person in the mirror. So I don't want to, like, just assume that I would never do anything crazy, because I feel like that would make me more likely to do it, right? Like, not acknowledging, like, that side of myself.
The views and opinions expressed by Brandon on that subject are his and his solely. I do not agree. I do not condone or share those views or opinions.
Wow.
I was gonna give him an out.
Never, ever. I know
I
that
was gonna give him
person
an out.
is dead and gone.
Brandon, you learned.
Yeah, B.
You learned from your situation, man. This
Edit
is who
that.
you are now.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna digress back to previous Brandon. You had your thing after Ugly Duckling thing. You had your spurt, and now that's out, and now you are who you are now. So that is what it is.
Yeah.
That is what it is. That's in the past. You are
good
you are
now. Life is good now. I think a part of all of that is just trying to find some foundation and some structure into what you need to help you grow into being the man that you are now. So that's why I feel like I know I wouldn't make those same mistakes, because my wife, she saved my life, man. Like everything that I have is because of her. All of the peace that I have is because of her. I know people say that you got to do it for yourself and it's on you. You got to love yourself and all of that. And I agree, but you get your source of power from somewhere. And she's my source of power. I know that there's no turning back. Once you do that and you break that trust and you put that in their head, you're never going to get back to the place where you were before that. And I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have to walk around her knowing that she's never going to be able to trust me the way she once did. That love is never going to be the same. And I don't think you want to mess that up either. I don't think anybody should want to mess that up with the person that they say they want to spend their life with.
But let me ask you a question.
Please do.
Did you not think you wanted to spend your life with someone else in that time, right? Like when you were in the situation, you're never thinking like, oh, this is just a good 6 months. It's after the first, I don't care what nobody says, after like 60 days, 90 days, you're like, oh, we in it to win it. This is it. We're good. Like it's forever, ever.
Yeah. To be honest though, I hope this doesn't make me sound like a douche or a scumbag or anything, but we're being honest. I feel like I've always had something inside of me that made me really like somebody, like really feel like this was the one. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as we were physical, that feeling was gone.
That's another episode, because I was telling my girlfriend
it was a genuine feeling too. Like I'm ready to risk it all, do whatever I got to do to be with you. And as soon as, we took it to the next level, it was like,
that's because there wasn't any emotional connection. It was a lustful connection. And I told my girlfriend, I said, women hold the sex up to they put sex on a pedestal too much. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but that's not going to be the deciding factor of a relationship. Mm-hmm. Men could hold out forever. And just like you said, you had that lustful intent and you thought this is the person you wanted to be, and sex just clarified it all. The minute you came, it's like, all right, next one. And I told my girlfriend this, like, I don't understand why women be sitting here be like, yo, next 3 months, I'm going to have sex because that's the golden rule. You got to make sure they're into you. No, that nigga going to be around for the next 3 months and might not be around after you have sex. Like, that's another episode.
Yeah, I'm not proud to say that, but, we're being honest, and that's who I was at the time. I never felt like forever was with everybody. It was a very select few that I felt like I could see myself being with forever. And then, things happened and it didn't work. And my wife, she weathered the storm. When I get to tell that story, everybody will know just how deep it really is. And the stuff, because I'm a lot to deal with. I'm aware that I'm tough to handle. And she handled it. So now I got to give her the best that I have to give. She earned that. She earned my respect, my love, my trust. She earned the best me because she's always given me the best her.
What about you, Kofi? You ever think that it was going to be forever, but Just move on.
Yeah, we'll get
Tell
to
the truth. Tell the truth. I went with you to that restaurant. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
There's some more
I think that's.
I was there.
I think that's natural anytime, right? Like you start scenario playing, right? Like in your mind, like you're just like, because if you can't do that from interactions with the person, then you might as well, go out and go to another country, pay for it, right? Because like, in that case, like seriously, like if you, at least the way I see it is, if I'm going to spend time, invest time, having a conversation, invest time by giving you my time, then like I need to be able to look past the conversation if I'm thinking about being like involved with you, right? Because like if not, then that's a pretty fucking boring relationship. If like if I dread the conversation and I can't see anything that we, I can't envision us actually doing something together. Like that's a waste of time. I can spend that reading a book, investing in some stock, or just doing something that I actually want to do. Go read a comic book, right? Like why waste my time with somebody that like I can't envision doing something else with beyond the conversation.
Yeah, true indeed. And I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I'm 10 times the man that I was those days anyway. I could build a house, right? Like all those things where they'd be like, oh, he asking you, can you cook? Can you? Yes, I can. I can 100%. There's no doubt about it. I can do all of
respect.
it. You're gonna have all the viewers in the comments.
They about to take a dump on me. Hopefully no excuses because they about to trash me.
That's what this is about. Showing love. You should show yourself love and big yourself up, because I've seen the growth and the progression in you from a boy to a man, and you're standing on your own, and maybe you didn't make it to that point on your own, but you made it there, and you should be proud. You should shout that out. And I just want to honor you on that too, King. Like I seen it and I know what you came from, and I see where you are. Look where you at. You in your crib. That's yours. When you go inside your house, that's your family. You don't got to feel like you're not a part of something no more. You have something that belongs to you. So I'm proud of you and I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's dope.
You're welcome.
It's really dope.
Yeah. Sometime down the line, I'm gonna have to hear this Kofi restaurant story.
Was it a good restaurant or like?
No, it wasn't.
Wait, are you talking about the pier, George?
Yeah. It wasn't.
I thought you were talking about the one I told you about.
There's 2 restaurants.
Sherry's place.
Oh yeah.
No.
From
it's
Australia.
the one.
Yeah.
The
all right, never mind.
Yeah, it was when you was obsessed. Well, not obsessed, but it was when we had.
Hold on.
I mean,
I gotta hear this episode.
I'm trying to say it, but not say it. I don't want to slander you, and then.
Well, so obsessed is a terrible word to use, especially in the current climate.
Yeah, all right. You weren't obsessed, and you were extremely infatuated with this.
We were infatuated.
With this. Who? We like you and her?
Everybody,
yes.
y'all know French.
Oh. Yeah, I'm about to say, because I didn't even eat when we went.
Yo, this story better be good.
Yeah, I got it.
It's not as good as y'all think.
It wasn't anything crazy. We just had a couple of conversations about this person. Because when you got a friend and he likes somebody, and then it's like, why do you like her? Like, dude, she doesn't really even seem that interested. She got a situation. We going all the way out there to see her while she's working, and it didn't make sense to me, but he was my guy. So I was like, all right, I'll go.
But he said,
because I'm supporting you. No, he meant like him and her. No, I didn't. No. That's why he's always trying to include me in something that I have nothing to do with.
There was no Eiffel Tower situation going on. Like
the views expressed by Kofi are solely Kofi's and his alone. I do not condone or endorse those views. I stand alone. I stand alone.
Yo, it's super good talking to you, fellas. Yo, I honestly wanted to have this whole podcast talking about how trash Joe Budden was. I would have just
Nah,
all in.
we not
The levels.
trashing. We not trashing, Joey.
I got mad smoke for your boy too,
We
Rion.
not. We not.
Oh, no, you don't. Oh,
Kevin Samuels. I got
Kevin
smoke for Kevin
Samuels.
Samuels too.
Don't talk about his pops like that.
Yeah, you can't talk about my pops. You can't talk about my pops. We could do this.
Yo,
Yeah.
I mean,
man.
when the episodes is I'm ready when y'all are. We ain't
Yeah,
gotta. Yo,
Yeah. So
got
as soon
smoke
as
for y'all
Kofi
boys,
get
man.
his off, we back and running. We just wanted to be clear, give some foundation and some context to how we got to who we are as men, because love and your relationships, the things you go through, that plays a big part in who you become. No matter how you deal with it or how you get through it, it shapes you and it molds you, even if you don't think it did. So we just trying to let y'all know that we didn't get here just with the snap of a finger. We're not pretending like we're perfect. We're not chasing perfection. We're chasing peace. That's it. And we're trying to give that to you. So subscribe. Show us some love, like, comment, interact with us. Just join the movement. That's all we working. I don't know if that should have been the outro or not, but hey, what we doing? That's it, B, or we still got time?
that's it. We had like. 2
Oh
minutes
man,
left.
all right.
You
Wish
good,
you
buddy.
love, happiness, success, and wherever you are, whoever you're with, just show love. Whatever you choose to do, just be inspired. Choose to inspire, not destroy. Peace.
Yeah.